folks, Mule Fitness. Thanks for buying my book. If you haven't bought one, it's available on Amazon. So these are the videos that accompany all the routines in the book. They're all color-coded, and we're the blue routine, and it's the first routine of the blue section. So it's TRX. Now our exercise model today is Margaret. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for helping us out. Do you even know what a TRX is?
I do not. Don't know anything about it. Can you imagine?
And we hear you have a little bit of a knee issue too?
Yep, medial knee problem.
Okay. So a great example of, hopefully, we'll see, that this thing will work for most people in the general population, even with issues. So it's a way to get through issues, and the TRX is merely, and here they are, there's a couple of them right here. You can use any suspension trainer, folks. What is a suspension trainer? Well, it's some nylon webbing and a couple of handles, and it's attached to something. It could be over a tree limb, it could be over a crane arm, and it kind of looks like parachute cord, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right? And we use our own body weight, and it can help us move through space, and it puts us in these beautiful geometries that can protect knees.
Great.
Wow! So let's see if this thing works for us.
Okay.
I'm not advocating TRX, folks. There's other suspension trainers out there. Feel free to buy one of your choice. But this is probably the original, and it's been around for a while. So, without further ado, Margaret, let's go into our first exercise.
Okay.
Alternating reverse lunge. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Alternating means going right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. Reverse lunge meaning we're going to be going into you guys in the camera. So what do? I just take the straps here, and I'm going to put my right leg back, and I keep a little bit of bend in my arms. If I go straight back, all the load is in my arms, but here I want to pull in so I've got more load in the leg. Now I can feel it in the glute and in the quads and in the hams, and I just alternate, and you can go, and the back leg, folks, looks like a big bow of a bow and arrow, and the front leg you try to get down into a 90 degree from the thigh to the shin. Okay. Barbara, give it a shot.
Okay.
So she's gonna, again, always try to keep a little bend in the arms here.
Okay.
And you just stand up straight. You don't have to squat or anything, just stand up straight. And then just go ahead and put a leg back.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna tie her shoe.
We can do that in a minute. Like that. Slower.
Yeah, that looks good. So notice how that back leg is going back. How's it feel on your knee? Most critical thing.
Pretty good.
She can feel it a little bit, but pretty good.
Yeah, it's really not that bad.
It's not that bad. Okay, so we can stop right there, Margaret. And the one thing I want to point out, and we'll see if we can see this on camera, but go ahead and put that left leg back for me. Okay, now what I want to point out is that the knee is in back of the toe here. I mean, it's really far in back of the toe. So when that happens, we're usually in a very protected position. We're in a gorgeous geometry that protects the joint. So that's why I like TRX, because we're using our body weight, and they're almost like handicap rails that can help us go through space. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to have Margaret come to center. Now I'm going to have her tie her shoe because it's a safety thing.
Sorry.
She normally wears sandals, so at least I got her to wear closed-toed shoes on this. So thank you, Margaret, for doing that.
No problem.
And that's generally a thing in gyms. We want safety first, okay? So what we're going to do, Margaret, is we're going to do we're going to double count it, like 1, 1, 2, 2. Normally we go to 8, folks. All right. So we're going to go to 8, double count. Here we go. Start with
double on the same leg.
No, we're just going to alternate. It's alternating. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and Margaret, keep on counting to yourself, okay? I'm terrible at counting, folks. You're gonna see me lose count all over the place in this routine, and I don't apologize. I just don't care. But we want a good workout, generally 8.
This is 8.
How's that feel, Margaret? Good?
Feels good. It's working.
Okay, it's working. So you should feel it in the glutes. And
Yes.
she's getting down there pretty low. Now, where do you feel it in that back leg? You should feel a stretch, do you not, in the front of that hip when that leg goes back in towards camera. So what are we stretching there? Oh, those deep hip flexors, which are always tight on most people because we sit in our cars all day, and we sit at the computer, and we're on Zoom all the time now, and it's just terrible. But now we get to open that thing up, and then that one muscle that crosses 2 joints in our quad, the rectus femoris, we get to stretch that guy too. So we get to stretch the whole front of the leg. I love that for sports. And we get to activate the glutes. And that's enough talking. So that's it, folks. Alternating reverse lunge. Repeater, reverse lunge, high knee. Well, we just did a reverse lunge, alternating. Repeater is that group exercise term for keep it on the same leg. And we're going to go to reverse lunge, and we're going to take it right to high knee, because I'm going to stretch all my hip flexors and these quad muscles here, and then I'm going to activate them. Okay, guys? Boom. Great for sports. And I'll just demonstrate for Margaret. And it's the same deal, right? The leg goes back, but boom, I'm just going to activate it, and I want that thigh parallel to the floor. And do it as slow as you want to, get the neural patterns down. And we keep the load on the one leg the whole time. And then that's going to make us stronger. And maybe burn a little bit. And maybe have a little bit of cardio in here. So Margaret's going to go back to high knee. And we can slow it down, Margaret, at first. Just get the pattern down. Notice how we have to kind of balance on that leg. She's using the straps a little bit to hold her. Again, they're like almost like handicap rails. And they're keeping these knees in back of her toe there, so that's a beautiful geometry. And then she's activating that hip. What's our count, Margaret? Because I'm not counting for you. 6.
7. 8.
And that's 8, right? Okay, so now she's going to do the other side, folks. You can see that. Again, we're checking to see if she has a little bit of bend in her arms, which keeps her body weight over her leg. She just naturally is looking up towards the attachment point or in front. That's beautiful. I didn't even cue her on that. She's doing that correctly. If you're looking at the floor, folks, look where Margaret's looking. That's really nice.
6. 7.
7. 8.
Okay.
Right, so that's our 8. 8 each leg. How you feeling, Margaret?
Good. A little cardio.
A little cardio? A little cardio. That 8 is our number, so we could do 16. All right? Now, what if you're a tennis player? What if you really need to activate that, or you're a sprinter and you want to warm up? Let's do this again, Margaret. And give me 8, and now really hit it fast. Boom. We want to neurally upregulate. So for you athletes, add another set here. Here we go. Boom. 2, even faster. 3, 4, get a rhythm down. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. That's it. The other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've never done this before, folks? 6. Another set. Another set of 8 each side. Okay, we're just fooling with her now. But you can see, folks, where you can turn this exercise nice and slow into something with a lot of sets and reps that is very athletic. It's your workout. You can dial in whatever you want or whatever your needs are. And again, this thing is going to apply for people in the general population, younger people starting out, to people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and even for you tactical athletes, you firefighters, police, military, whatever you guys are, and you athletes. So this thing is a one-size-fits-all routine, just very speed, rep, sets, okay? Forward hip hinge. Now, Margaret, tell me what you just told me off camera in our last exercise.
I said I was embarrassed because I was a little bit winded after the last exercise.
She's a little winded after the last exercise. Another point in the book, folks, is always wear a heart rate monitor, and then you can see what workout you're doing and what you're doing to condition your heart. No, trust me, this is body, big movements, moving through space. You're getting down there, using these big glutes, and of course you're going to get out of breath. We're activating both types of our muscle tissue, the type 1 and the type 2. It's in the book, you can read about it. Anyway, it will make you huffy, and that's the idea. So we've just gotten a little huffy from that last exercise, or maybe the last two that we did. And now this is going to be forward hip hinge. And what's a nice way to do this? Maybe I'll keep the straps together, folks. See this? Both handles together. I'll just put a hand on it. The other hand just goes right on top. And then I'm working as a unit. Now, I'm going to have a nice wide stance. My feet are straight ahead. My hands, you may not be able to see this in camera, they're right at my belly button or below my belly button. And then I'm just going to go on out with straight legs. I'm going to melt my head between my shoulders, and I'm going to come on back. That's an inhale, folks. And then I exhale as I go out. It's like an ocean wave going into the shore. Whoosh. And then we're going to inhale like a big ocean wave going back out. We're going to tie it. We're going to get the lungs really full. And we're going to stretch all of our hams and the back of our legs. Now, Margaret's starting here. Now, she initially, go ahead, Margaret, where you were. Back out there. So she was starting way up here with the hands above the belly button. And so go ahead and do it for me. No, stay right there and do it. And we're going to see how much stretch we get, okay? So go ahead and do it one more time for me. And good. She's keeping her legs nice and straight. She's getting a nice stretch of the lats overhead, okay? Now come on back, Margaret. Now move in so your hands are right at your belly button. Now do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, look how much lower her body went, folks. So if you got super tight hands, and some of you athletes and sprinters will have them, trust me, you might have to do your hands above your belly button, all right? But Margaret she does Pilates and yoga, and she dances, and she does a bunch of stuff like that. So she's going to have a certain degree of flexibility. Now, Margaret, move it even more so your hands are below your belly button.
Okay.
Nice wide stance here, feet straight ahead. And she's even lower now, folks. So you can dial in. And again, 8 would be our number. And she's keeping those legs straight, so we're stretching all the glutes and then in the back, the lower back, which ties into the lats that come around there. So it's a great way to stretch. We rhythmically go ahead and stretch. She's doing way more than 8 now. But again, the idea is to stretch the rubber bands, release the rubber bands. Stretch the rubber bands, which are the myofascial networks, and release the myofascial networks. So we're activating them. Okay, folks?
Okay.
They look really good, Margaret.
Liked it.
Figure 4 sit. Well, we stretch out the hams in the last one. Now we're going to stretch out the glutes. So how do I do that? Folks, I'm going to use this as I'm going to lean back in the handles a little bit. I'm going to cross my legs like I'm at a business meeting here. My ankle is right above my knee. And I'm just going to melt my chest. Oh, that's a good stretch of my glute. Melt my chest over my shin. And again, it's a rubber band. I come out of it. Keep it right there. Don't move it. Exhale as you stretch into that glute and come on back. And we're going to have Margaret do it. And you're going to have to balance on that standing legs, folks. How's that going to work?
Yeah, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
Okay.
So we're going to see Margaret's balance here. And again, she just, there we have it, folks. Trust me, this is going to challenge your balance, but I like it for you golfers and you people that have these side shift sports, even baseball players. You need to upregulate these upper outsides of the glutes of the standing leg. But the stretch, Margaret, where do you feel it?
Right there.
Right there. Now, if she tends this knee down towards the ground, go ahead and do it, and tend that. It's a deeper stretch, isn't it?
Yes.
So if you try to push this knee down towards the ground, And again, if 8's our number, you know, that's 8, right, or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah, and so she's going to switch now. And again, she just goes in and she rhythmically stretches the rubber band on the exhale, and she inhales and comes out of it. She exhales, stretches the rubber band, and she comes out of it. And again, now her left knee tends towards the ground, and that provides a deeper stretch right back in there, folks. And that's all those hip rotators, and it's the glutes, and it's a bunch of great stuff.
That one really needed it.
And that one really needed it, Margaret says. So again, we can do this before sports to activate the body, or we can do it after sports and do it more slow, more rhythmically, and just do a beautiful stretch after the workout. Very versatile. So it's good, Margaret. And you had good balance on those, so
yeah,
nice job. Figure 4 set. Low stool squats. Well, we're going to squat like we're going down onto a low stool. So there we have it. How about that? So typically, again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have light hand tension in the straps. And then I'm just going to sit on back. And notice how my glute drops below my knees. And that's critical. I want the glute to drop below the knees. You can start shallow at first. And you can work yourself down into it, folks. And now it's below the knees here. And again, if my arms go straight, the load is being borne by my arms and the straps. But if I pull myself forward, I'm going to keep weight in my feet. And if I have light hands, I've got a lot of weight in my feet. I should be able to tap my toes. That's a lot of stuff I'm telling you right now. So we'll see Margaret do it, and we're going to review all that. So, because Margaret has a little medial knee issue, I'm just going to have her go a little shallow here. And again, this is like almost like a handicap rail, right? Of course, it moves in space, but it takes the load off the body. Now, again, we see here, her knee is behind my arm. Oh, that's a beautiful geometry, folks. I know that her knees are just opening up and they're in a really protected state here. And we're getting some nice glute work now because the glute in the ham is being stretched as it goes below the knee. If not, it's going to be quad dominant if we stay above the knee. But below the knee, we get the glute activated a little more. Does it feel, Margaret?
Yeah, feels like
Okay, so she's doing her 8 as I ramble on. And again, you might want to do 2 sets of 8. 8, okay?
Okay.
Now, that's it, folks. As simple as that. But we can see where we can begin to take this thing to the next level for you athletes. And I don't want to get ahead of myself too much, but in future TRX routines, you can see if you explode off and jump with the TRX straps, we can introduce plyometrics. And for you athletes, again, a one-size-fits-all routine, you can make this thing really, really intense. But let's start off here, folks, and just get the muscle and everything kind of stretched out. And again, when you get down there, and here I'm doing it without any straps, right? So it's really light. You should be able to tap your toes. So Margaret, just go ahead and do that. Just go on down. So that means the weight is in the heel and the midfoot, and it's not in the forward foot. If the weight is in the forward part of the foot and the heels come up, that's going to be some strain on knees, especially if you have knee issues. That's not going to feel good. So very nice, Margaret. Those are low stool squats. Forward lunge with fly. Now, our backs have been to you guys this whole routine, right? So now I'm going to face you guys. And here we go. How do I do this? I'm going to have the straps just above my shoulders. Light tension in there. That's all I'm going to do. I don't have to grab onto it, just light tension. And then I'm going to step out with a big horse step. And I'll do it with my left leg first. So here I do. I have a big horse step. Boom. I come to a T. What's happening with my back foot? I'm on the ball of my foot and my heel's up, okay? Because I'm really out here. Now, all I have to do now, I don't worry about the front knee at all. Don't even think about the front knee. Just think about the back knee. Come to a T and drop the back knee. Remember that little poem. And as I drop the back knee, watch, it's pulling my pecs back. Oh man, that's a great stretch. And then boom, I push back to standing again. And now I'm gonna do the right leg, all right? So again, big horse step, cold stop. Do not break that front knee. You will always wanna do that. Don't do that. Don't, bad dogs. So come here, come to a T, drop the back knee. And the front knee just bends on its own. And then I push on back. Let's give it a shot, Margaret.
Oh.
So what you do, you just stand there with the straps right above. Let's move on back a little bit. And the hands are going to be winging out like some bird wings here. Okay, so we'll just start here. And then she's going to take a big step out with her, let's say, your right leg, like your right leg first.
Sure.
Okay, so big step out. Come to a T and the body's just straight. Okay? Now, good, that back heel is up, she's on the ball of the foot. Now just drop that back knee, Margaret, straight down towards the floor and then come on back. Nice. Other side, come to a T, even maybe a little bigger step than that. Come to a T, drop the back knee, and you want to drop it fairly slowly and feel the stretch of the pecs. And it's like a stretchometer. As you go deeper with that back knee, the pecs get stretched back. Come to a T, drop the back knee. Push on back. And that's called a ground reaction force, right, folks? For you athletes and sprinters, it's a ground reaction force that we want to develop as we get that strength going. And the body's vertical and it just goes right down the elevator shaft. It looks really good, Margaret. Want to do a couple more?
Sure.
Come to a T. Drop the back knee. Push back. What's your count?
7.
7. And we're going to maybe double count that if you want. You can do 8 on one leg, 8 on the other. You can alternate for 8. Again, make it your workout, folks, and make it as intense as you want. And again, that cardio should be going up a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Huffy, huffy. Side lunge, foot glued. Now look, folks, we've been working in this plane. It's called the sagittal plane. It's where we kind of run and walk and bike and do all that sort of stuff. But now there's this other plane. And it's this plane, folks. And think about you tennis players, and think about you linebackers and you shortstops. So it's another sports plane that we like. And we want to get activated, and we like to get these hips and legs going. So that's the idea of this column 2 stuff. Now, how do I do that? I'm going to do a side lunge. I'm going to glue down, that's what's called, I'm going to glue down that right foot, and my left leg is going to go out, and then I'm going to push on back. Now, Margaret, I want you to stand right here, right in front of me. I want you to be my coach.
Okay.
And I want you to make sure that my foot, hip, and knee is all in a line.
They are.
This right leg is straight. Look at the angle on that ankle. And I'm stretching my long adductors inside that right leg as I activate. And again, I've got it bent in my arms. I'm not doing this, guys. Keeping it over that leg, and that loads it. And let me do it to this side now. So Margaret, be my coach over here. Make sure that my foot, hip, and knee is all in a line.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I got a little bend in my arms. This leg is straight. So those are the cues that you want, guys. And we're pushing back. Now I'm going to do it wrong. Okay?
Okay.
So now what happens if I don't step out far enough?
Ooh, that's not on the line.
Oh, so now my hip is over my knee, is over my foot. Hip, knee, foot. So that's wrong. Wrong. Bad dogs. So we want to go everything in line. What if I go too far out?
Then the hip is in front.
And then the hip is inside the knee, which is inside the foot. That's also wrong. So you want everything in a line. You want that foot straight ahead, and we're going to see this pattern again and again in my book. But what does this do? It turns on the glute. And if I turn the foot out, that's quad dominant, folks. We don't want that either. We want to turn on the glutes here. So I do that by having the foot straight ahead, foot, knee, hip on the line.
Okay.
I beat that to death.
Okay.
Give it a shot, Margaret.
Okay. Whoa.
We'll do it slowly. Just kind of go into it. Again, she has some knee issues, so we got to watch out, make sure everything works for her.
How's that?
That looks good. So foot, knee, and hip is all on the line. That leg is straight. She's stretching those adductors. We're getting that ankle mobile, getting some real movement in that right ankle. Stretching the right adductors. And then she feels it here in the hips. Now she's allowed her arms to go out straight, hasn't she, folks?
It's not right.
So, which is okay at the beginning. And you will have a tendency to do that. And that's okay. But as you get better at it and stronger, see if you can keep the arms bent, and that puts more load in the leg. And then we push back to center. And then if it hurts to push back because we have a medial knee issue or anything, we may not want to do that. Okay? So let's try this side. Again, what am I checking for? Foot, knee, and hip on the line. That looks good. This leg is straight. So notice, folks, I'm doing it without any TRX straps, but the straps will help my body weight and take the load off my legs and knees and put the load up into the strap and the attachment point. What's your number, Margaret?
6.
And that's 8. That's it, guys. Side lunge, foot glute. Side lunge, toe up. And again, Margaret commented off camera that got her a little bit huffy, so that was definitely a cardio type piece. Again, where your heart rate monitors and see what's happening to you. Go to the cardio curves in the book and you can see what you did after the workout. So now, if I do the next variation, so watch this, folks. Same rules apply. Side lunge, foot, knee, hip all on the line, but I'm going to rock up on that heel. And I'm going to show the sole of my foot right to the kind of corner of the room there. And then what am I stretching now with that foot? Oh, that calf muscle. Those hamstrings. That feels really good. And then I can continue my cardio bit. And again, I can go low and slow. Or if you athletes need to pump it up, right? Do this side. Foot, knee, hip on the line. Jack the toe up with that leg straight. So again, these two pieces together, the last one and this one, are cardio. Again, we're going to do 8 per side. We can alternate. So Margaret will do 8. And again, you'll have a tendency to go back with the arms as she's doing.
Okay.
And if you keep the arms a little more bent, you're going to put more load over the leg and the glute. But that's okay. At the beginning, do what you got to do.
Okay. Okay. So.
Other side now. Right. And so really jack that toe up, Margaret. I want to see the bottom of the foot there. Feel that stretch?
Yeah.
That's the stretch I want you to have.
Okay.
All right. She got it. That's 8 each side. Now I might want to do a little more cardio on her because she's here for a little workout as well as helping me out. So Margaret, we're going to do alternating for 8.
Okay.
So we're just going to do another variation where we alternate now. And again, feel free to do all 8 to one side, all 8 to one side, or alternate, whatever you want. But this kind of mimics going back and forth along the baseline in tennis, or just nice patterns, right? And I can hear her breathing a little bit now. And you have it there, Margaret?
Yeah.
That's enough?
That's good enough for me.
It's good enough. lateral line stretch. You know, on a fish, they have that dark line that runs down the side of the fish. Well, we have kind of a lateral line too. And that's one of our myofascial networks, and we get to stretch and activate that guy. How do I do that? Let's grab it by both of the, if these are handles, these are like stirrups, aren't they? Grab them by the stirrups, and I'm gonna hold it right over my head, like a little ballerina on a music box. How about that? This hand is gonna go over the top. And then I'm gonna walk in a little bit. And then I'm gonna fall towards you folks in camera, and I'm going to stretch the whole side under my armpit down into the top of my hip, and that's a beautiful way to kind of stretch that lateral line. And what am I not doing, folks? Turning into the attachment point. I lose the whole stretch and exercise. We don't want to do that. You got to stay like you're between two planes of glass. You're on the inside of two planes of glass, and don't break the glass, folks. So I'm just going to fall away, and then again, I'm going to turn around, grab it by the outside hand first. Inside hand comes over. We can walk in for more stretch, keep the feet together, hands right over the head, and I fall away. Now, what if I hold it with the wrong hand first? With this hand, what happens? Nothing, because there's no stretch. I have to hold it with this hand first, and that provides the stretch. We got it? All righty. So, right away, Margaret, hold it like this. I'm going to change your hand. You're going to hold it over the top. There we go. Now we have this connection, and her feet are together, and she just... It's going to be a little freaky the first time you do this, folks. But again, it's like we have two planes of glass here, and Margaret is right between these two planes of glass, and she's not breaking the plane to face me at all. So she's really going out there. It looks really good, Margaret. Excellent.
6.
And where else can you really get this strength built up and stretch of all these
8.
all that lat muscle and teres major and all that stuff? Again, she holds it with the outside hand first. Her hands are right above her head like a little ballerina. She can move her feet in a little bit, and that provides the kind of gravity to pull your body. Again, TRX, we're using our body weight through gravity, which is a beautiful way to start and get strong from the inside out. Stretch, activate all these myofascial neural networks, and it's going to pay dividends later, folks. Trust me. Lateral line stretch. Margaret, excellent.
Ooh,
Nice
that's
job.
hard. Feels good though.
Crescent lunge. This is kind of a yoga move, isn't it? But with the TRX, we have like a resisted stretch now. So it's more intense than in a yoga class, which is pretty cool. So what am I going to do? Folks, both handles are together. Put one hand over there, the other hand on top. They work as a unit. I'm going to put my hand straight overhead. Now, once I'm out here, my hand straight overhead, I'm going to go into a split stance. So my right foot goes out and my left foot goes back, and I just kind of walk them out. Walk one forward, walk one back. I'm still arms straight overhead. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue down this back heel. Boom. That back left leg is straight. Now, I'm going to float my front knee across the room. How far will I go? Only about an inch or so. So I'm going to float the knee across the room. Boom! All my fascial nets up here in my chest, into my abs. You can feel them engage right away. And that's the feeling you want. It's very subtle. You got to feel it, work at this one. So I float the knee across the room. Boom! Now what am I going to do? Stretch my lateral lines again. Oh, but it's a different way. I lean to the left. I lean to the right. Oh, exhale. Inhale through center. And I exhale. I do it again. And then what do? Come through center, right overhead again. Switch. Now my left foot is out, my right foot is back. The heel is glued down, my right leg is straight, arms overhead, and then I do my left, right, left, right. So let's talk you through this, Margaret. Again, both hands are on both grips at once. And I want her just to walk out. She's not leaning into it at all. I don't want you to lean into it. Just walk out under it. No, don't do that yet. Walk out from me, Margaret, a little more. With both feet together. Just both feet together. Okay. Just walk out a little more, both feet together. Okay. There. So now I see we have some stretch going on. Now go ahead and go into a split stance. And have that back foot go back. You can walk the back foot back a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, now she's set up. Okay? This foot's out front. This foot is back. She's running her head. So this leg is straight. This foot is going to want to pigeon out. You try to make it as straight as you can, straight ahead. Glue that heel down. That leg is straight. And now, Margaret, float this knee across the room. Boom, you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's it, she's there. She's activated those deep fascial nets in her chest and her arms. And now she's going to exhale as she goes to each side. A lot of work going on, folks. It takes a lot of effort to do this. Breathe into it. Stretching is not always easy, you will find. It takes a lot of work. Good. And just, one time each side, maybe back and forth a couple times. So walk on out. So, ready? Okay, so she's going to walk out, so she's in a split stance. She should feel it pretty much stretched already. And then I'm going to cue her back foot here first. So I want this foot straight ahead, Margaret. There we go. I want that foot straight ahead. Glue the back heel down. Back leg is straight. Good. This knee hasn't bent yet. Keep it straight. And now we're going to float that knee across the room. Boom. That activates that. And now she's going to stretch for me. She's going to exhale, come through center, exhale. Now we're getting all this great stretch here, folks. This is getting stretched. This is getting stretched. We got all these fascial networks getting stretched and activated.
That's her.
And that's it. So maybe 2 times, back and forth, left, right, left, right. Do as many as you want. Margaret's doing a couple more here.
I didn't even get the...
Yeah, and so she's getting a stretch in that hip. So a lot of great stuff going on. Very nice. Snow angels. So I'm facing you guys again. The straps are right behind my pant, seam of my pant here. Okay? And then what do? I just come light tension in the strap, so I come up and around. Boom. It's around my forehead, isn't it, folks? Top of my forehead. It's that simple, really that simple. But if you've got shoulder issues, it's not that simple. And you might have a glitch here if you've got shoulder issues, and you might have to go past that point of glitch. Be careful with that. So we're just kind of testing the shoulders out here for range of motion. But watch, if I walk out 1 little baby inch, it's not a 1-to-1 geometric ratio, is it? If I walk out 1 inch, these hands start flying overhead. Whee! Way up here now. Just walking out 1 inch. What if I walk out another inch? Oh, that's my sweet spot right there. Now, on a sailing ship, we want the rigging to run free and clear. We don't want it to bind up. That's no good for the sailing ship. It won't get you anywhere, and it won't get you anywhere here either. If I walk out 1 more inch, my rigging is binding up. It's in my scapula. I don't have free motion here, so I'm too far out. So you step back so you can get your highest elevation of your hands, but with free, clear rigging. It should feel nice, not bad. All right, Margaret, let's just do that. And she's going to slowly walk out, and she's going to start with the straps right behind her hands, pants, rather. And a little farther back, Margaret. Yeah, just so it's easy. So I want your arms come up in a very favorable, and there it is, right about the top of her forehead area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then go on back. Maybe do 2 in each position for me. Good. And then take 1 little baby inch out. And the hands go up quite a bit higher, as you can see in the home viewing audience.
I have 8 arms.
And she has 8 arms.
Very long.
Okay. Now that should feel, that's probably about right for you.
As a swimmer, you can go swim.
Now, is that still clear for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so she has pretty free scapula back there. And she's right overhead from my point of view, so that's, usually you'll be a little bit in front of your head, but that's really good. Now try it, go back further out, Margaret. And now try it. And get to the point where you're binding up. And right there, I can see it, she's binding up right in there. So that's too far out, move on back, and just do your snow angels. So it's, I've used this to help with shoulder rehab. I've used it for a bunch of good stuff. But again, we're just making sure that that joint is running free and clear. And then, of course, we're in this plane that we're doing this sort of stuff in. Okay? Like a jumping jack. That's good, Margaret. Snow angels, we got it.
Cool.
Armpit hang squat. I don't know what these, I come up with these dumb names. I don't know where they come from. I just try to describe them. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take my straps. I'm going to talk you through this thing. Hold them right by my chest. I'm going to walk in 3 little baby steps, folks. Beep, beep, beep. That's it, 3 little baby steps. And then my arms go out. Oh my goodness, it's the first time you've held your body weight with a TRX strap. It's scary, but you'll be okay. You won't go anywhere, as long as that attachment point doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm just going to drop my tail down towards the ground. My feet are a little bit like hip width apart, maybe a little more. And I just drop my tail down. My tail is not on the floor. It's about 1 inch or 2 above it. I'm going to hang my head down like a scolded dog. Oh, and that's the stretch, folks. That's my erector spinae going from my sacrum up into my neck. That feels really good. Am I done? No. What about that armpit? I'm going to look under my right armpit and twist my entire torso to look at Margaret. Hi, Margaret. And that stretches my lat muscle. So I go from my erector spinae, but when I do this, look under the armpit, that stretches the lat. And then I'm going to stand up, keeping my arms straight. And then I'm going to row in. And I can walk out of it to give my forearms a rest. All right, Margaret, we're going to walk it through.
Cool.
Margaret's going to start with the straps right by her chest. She's going to walk 3 little baby steps in. Beep, beep, beep. And that should be enough. Her feet are going to be about hip width apart. She's going to let the arms go out. First part of a row. She's going to drop her tail down right towards the floor. She's going to hang her head down. And that's the stretch. She should feel a stretch all through here, folks. Right down into that sacrum area of those back spinal muscles. And then, Margaret, go ahead and look under your armpit towards, away from me. Feel that stretch? So now, folks, the stretch is all through here. We've changed the fascial net of what we're stretching. And through center. And now we're stretching that fascial net, that lat muscle, and all that good stuff under the armpit. Come through center. Now stand up for Margaret. Do not bend the arms. And now row in. If you try to stand up and row in at the same time, it's going to look goofy. And we don't want to look goofy. And your body's not going to know where it is in 3-dimensional space. So break that down. Okay? Let's do it one more time, Margaret, just to demonstrate. I like doing about 2 of these, and that's usually enough. Okay, 3 little baby steps in. Arms out. Tail drops. Hang the head like a scolded dog. And just feel that nice stretch first. And then go ahead, Margaret, do your armpit stretches. In through center. Twist the whole torso. Stretch all that net. Through center. She's going to stand up. And she's going to row herself in. And she's now done 2 TRX rows, which are coming later.
Nice.
Golf Troika 1. Column 3, folks. So, column 1 was this plane. Remember we talked about that? Column 2 was this plane. Column 3 is this plane. So for all you sports fans out there, you can see we're getting everything upregulated and stretched and connected. So I call this golf troika, but it applies to a lot of sports. Margaret's a golfer, and I live in a country club area here with a bunch of golfers. So anyway, it's good for a lot of stuff. We're going to have the straps, and they're kind of hanging underneath the attach points. I'm just going to say close to the wall. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into my athletic stance. Now, what is an athletic stance, folks? If I think about it, if I'm a linebacker, you know, if I'm a shortstop, you know, we get in that, the lumbar is locked in, neutral, and if I'm a golfer, wow, that looks like a golf stance. So this is going to be kind of a modified golf stance. It's not going to be exactly, but kind of modified. So here I am. I'm just going to step out a little bit from the wall, and I'm in my golf stance, and I'm looking at my golf ball, and I keep looking at it. And I'm just going to simply just mobilize the shoulder joint here. And the scaps are moving and the shoulder joint's being mobilized. And that's my first thing. So I'm just warming up just the shoulder joint, isolating everything else. So Margaret, you're going to want to come in. Now, if this feels a little awkward, let's talk about strap length. And you can go into the TRX videos, and they go into a lot of stuff about where in the strap you are, and long, medium, short, and all that. If it feels too long, it is. If it feels too short, it is. Just because you don't know where the attachment point is, as long as this is about 6 feet high, you're good. Okay? So Margaret's going to get in there. That feels about right to her. I'm just going to have her wing around. She's looking at her golf ball. Now see, her eye wanted to watch that hand, didn't it, folks? No, Margaret, you got to watch that. So what I want is this lumbar locked in neutral here in this athletic stance. And I'm looking, folks, how far back each arm is coming. And Margaret's got a real good range here. She's a swimmer too. So I can see her left comes around really past the center line of her spine. And the right comes about right to the center line of her spine. So we can see that there's a little deviation in her body. That's typical. Typically one side will be more mobile than the other. 8's our number. I can do 8 to one side, 8 to the other, or I can alternate back and forth. And if it feels really good, folks, do 16, whatever you want, 24. Feel good, Margaret?
Yeah.
That look good. Golf troika 1. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Golf troika 2. Well, troika means 3. I don't know where I came up with that, but it's, it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is number 2 of 3 for our golf. Now, it's going to be critical that we get this right. Now my eye gets to follow my hand, but before I do that, folks, I'm going to go into camera and show you. I want to keep both knees bent now. And notice I'm coming up on the inside edge of that entire foot. And this knee's collapsing into this knee. Both knees are bent. I'm on the inside edge. And we know in football and a lot of sports, we like edge drills. We like being able to cut and move. And golf, we need to stabilize on each side. But this is going to facilitate that stretch. When I'm not coming up on that foot, keep the whole foot down. Just come on the edge like you're skiing, okay? Or Forrest Gump. When Forrest Gump taught Elvis how to do this, right? So that's kind of the idea. Well, okay, what am I going to do? My eye gets to watch my hand now. And here I am in my little athletic stance. And then my eye watches my hand. And that's my limit, folks, right there. And I can feel it in my right hip. But now, if I let my left knee collapse into my right knee, oh, baby, that's the stretch. So that's the money shot, folks. And if we want to get this spiral network stretched, we need to worry about that knee, be concerned about it, do it correctly. My eye watches my hand, and then I go on my inside edge, and oh, that allows me to open up. And the stretch, boom, right through there. Margaret, let's give it a shot. So we're stretching these kind of spirals here, folks. So you're way too far out, Margaret.
Okay.
So you're coming closer. Now, so let's go to the right. Your eye's going to watch your hand. This knee's going to collapse in. And she's on that edge of her whole foot there. And we have this nice spiral, folks. Good. Come through center, Margaret. Now notice she kind of seesawed that strap. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So that knee's collapsed in. She's on the edge. This knee's still bent. That's really critical. Those look really good, Margaret. Now, you've got to keep equal pressure.
Oh, okay.
So if I have 10 pounds of pressure in this strap, we need 10 pounds of pressure to counter it in the left hand so the strap doesn't seesaw on us.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, now Margaret, now do it without collapsing the knee in.
Okay.
And maybe we'll see how your range is not as much. Yeah, okay, so now do 2 more with collapsing the knee in. Again, this knee collapses in on that edge. And hopefully we'll see it increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, she's almost open all the way to the camera. Excellent, Margaret. So that's golf troika 2, and we got the spiral lines going now.
Ah.
Golf troika 3, 3 of 3. So what do? We first mobilize just the shoulder joint. Then we got the shoulder and the hips. Now we're gonna do the whole body, folks. That's the idea of the golf troika. And what do? Again, I have both straps. I put them together. Both of my handles are together. I can just put one hand on top of both handles and the other hand over it. Okay? It's going to work as a unit. Now, get rid of that athletic stance thing, but we're just going to be going up and down the fairway. And I'm going to spiral into Margaret first. My eyes watch my hands. And what's happening with my left foot, folks? I'm pivoting on the ball of my foot and my heel's coming up. Now I'm going to go down the fairway. And I do these nice and slow and deep. And in golf, we really want to exaggerate. And in a lot of sports, we really want to exaggerate turning on that foot and bringing that heel up so the sole of my foot looks each direction. So let's see Margaret do it and cue some of those things. So she's just going to stand there just kind of nice and relaxed, relatively, you know, straight up. And then she's just going to go ahead and pivot. And again, I really want to see this foot move and pivot on the ball of that foot. Then she's going to come through center. Then she's going to pivot her eyes and watches her hands. And she almost over pivoted that foot. And she's a right-hand golfer, so there we go. So that foot should just pivot. I should see the sole of that foot there on the ball of that foot. Because if you see a golfer that doesn't pivot that, or any slugger or discus thrower, so whatever you're doing that you need these spiral motions, these sports planes motions, we want to do that, and we will be discussing in detail later why those are so important as we want to protect our lumbars. And we get more power in sports. So there we go. That looks good, Margaret. And again, I could do, you know, my 8 alternating 1 set. That'd be good enough. Good and slow, deep, find your edges. Looks good. Helicopter. Well, we learned our forward lunge, come to a T, drop the back knee. Remember that, folks? We're going to do that again. We're going to come to a T. And Margaret's going to watch her knees here because, you know, the forward lunge puts a little more strain on the knees than the reverse lunges as a general rule. So we just watch that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my big horse step out. And if we need to keep a little bit of bend in that front knee, go ahead, Margaret.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to drop the back knee. Remember that, folks? Straight down. Spider web going down an elevator shaft. Back knee straight down. I'm not leaning forward. And this is just naturally stretching my pecs. Now let's add in another fascial network, the spiral network. Oh, baby, this is the money shot. And I'm looking right over my hip to the floor. And then I'm going to come back. Have I stood up yet? No, I'm still down here because I want that thigh to be time under tension in that glute. And it's burning now. And then I'm going to push back. I'll do the other side. Come to a T. Drop the back knee. Then I'm going to spiral into the forward leg. Spiral into the forward leg only. That's the stable side. That's the stretch. If I spiral into the open side, it just doesn't work. Okay? Spiral into the forward leg only. Here we go, Margaret.
Okay.
So she's going to start, again, back with the straps just above her shoulders. So step back a little bit. Arms straight. And her arms are going to be flying out like a bird. So nice big horse step out, Margaret. Drop the back knee. Her left leg was first, so she's going to spiral into me. And she's going to look over this hip. Where the eye goes, the body goes. Beautiful. Come through center, Margaret. Stay down low and push back. Let's do the other side. Come to a T. Drop the back knee. Drop the back knee first, a little more. There we go. And then the front knee naturally bends. And then she's going to spiral into that side. Come through center. And then push back. Is that good for you?
Yeah, that feels great.
So if that bothers the knee, now she's doing that same leg again. Come to a T, drop the back knee. And she's going to spiral into that forward leg only. So she did 2 times that one side. She just naturally went out there. Who cares? As long as you're even, you make it even eventually. Now you got to come out with the right leg now, Margaret. Come to a T. Drop the back knee. Stretch the pecs. And then spiral into me and look over that hip. Good. And that's good enough. So there you have it, folks. That's the helicopter. It looks like that same exercise in column 1, but we add the spiral line to that. And man, that gets about everything. I love that exercise. Skater lunge. What does that look like? Well, we did our reverse lunge, folks, didn't we? But what if I just kind of put a little bit of a spiral into that, where, and again, I'm keeping my arms a little bent, so it keeps load into that leg. And I like to think about, when I do this, putting the foot, like my left foot is going to wrap around like the 3 o'clock position almost, maybe 4:30 or 3. And this is going to wrap around to about the 7:30 or 9 position, folks. As opposed to just kind of going out like this. I really like to get in there deep and slow. And it looks kind of like a little curtsy. So we're just going to try that.
Okay, so
And that's it. And the knees just kind of naturally fold in on themselves, don't they? Now again, Margaret's allowing her arms to go a little bit straight. That's taking load off of her knees. But if she has a little knee issue going on, she wants to do that. But you'll find if you keep that arm bent, you're going to keep more load over the leg, and that'll get more glute. But definitely, we're seeing now that we're getting not only the big glute max that we did, but now we're getting the upper outside glutes. Those kind of rotator glutes. Those are your stabilizer, your gait stabilizing glutes. So for golf and sports, those are really important, those upper outside buttocks muscles. And again, if you want to make this more plyometric and more athletic, you can actually jump through the air and hop. No, don't do it with a bad knee, Mark. But you can see it. You can really make this thing very intense, which we will in later routines. But in the blue routine, get the pattern down first, and then we're just going to ramp it up. Does that look good? Row and push-up. Well, folks, I kind of ran out of room in the book, and I kind of squeezed two things together at the very end. So we're going to go over two different exercises. Let's do the push-up first, because it's probably the more complicated. And how do I do that? Now, the thing about TRX, these straps, and my hands are right on the straps. My feet are back. I'm walking back towards the wall. That increases my load. So this is fundamental to TRX, especially when you start doing strength training on it. It hadn't really been an issue to this point, but now it is. So if I step back, that's more load. If I step out towards you folks, my body angle has changed, and it's very easy. And if I step back, my body angle is now more steep. Or let's say more horizontal, okay? And that's harder. Now, notice what I did. My chest falls down. I'm on my tiptoes. I stay on my tiptoes. That puts the weight in your hands. You want to keep it there. Don't come out of there. Keep on your tiptoes. Allow the chest to fall down to your hands, and the handles will kind of naturally move out of the way as I push on back, and now my hands are right underneath my shoulders. So that could be like a kitchen counter down there, but my kitchen counter now moves through space. And I'm getting strong, and I'm developing my stabilizer muscles at the same time. So what did I do, folks? As I went down there, and this is the natural motion for a push-up or a bench press. But if I do a push-up or bench press on a machine, my arms are fixed. But here with TRX, it's gorgeous, folks. I can move through space the way my body needs and wants to move through space. That's the motion. So Margaret, let's go ahead. And we say, normally our number is 8 on most things. If we want to start developing strength, folks, we want to start thinking about 2 sets of 12, but we'll go into that later. For right now, we're just going to do a couple. So Margaret, get on your toes. Feel that weight in your hands? Feel that difference? Now, so her wrists are right under her shoulder to start. And then go real shallow for me, Margaret. Her elbows bend, and then push on back. So don't go all the way down. Start real shallow, folks, and work into it. Now, Margaret, maybe go down another inch. And she's doing a good job of keeping her body in a plank. So keep your body straight in a plank. It's almost like the hip bones fall towards the floor. The chest falls towards the floor. And she's getting a nice depth now where the hands are pretty much right there. That's that stretchy point in your pecs. You're going to feel that stretchy point right there. And that's where you stop. That's where your body is. And notice how it wings out wider than her body. And then she pushes on back. And then we get that nice cut on the inside of that pec. Those look good, Margaret. Now, if it's too hard for you, now Margaret, walk on out for me a little bit. And do a couple more. And how do they feel?
Easier.
Easier. They're much easier, folks. So that's the rule. If they're too hard for you, walk on out. And if they're not hard enough, what do we do, Margaret? Walk on back. And she can go all the way to the wall if she wants. Just keep on her toes. Okay, right. Now, let's talk about strap length. We really haven't talked about that too much, so watch out, Margaret. Let me come in. Now, I can lengthen these straps. I just hold a buckle, and pull. Ooh, so now they're longer. Look at that, folks. Wow. What happens now if I do a push-up?
Really hard.
Oh my goodness gracious, folks. Remember when I said the more horizontal you go, the harder it gets? So here it is. I'm now more horizontal. I hope you can see that on camera. And now when I go down there, oh baby, now we got some load going, folks. So we want to know those two rules. The one rule is walk back if you want it harder and make the straps longer if you want to make it harder. Okay? And that's push-ups, and we're going to cut there, and then we're going to come back and do rows. Oh, hey folks. We're going to do rows. Remember I lengthened these in the last push-up exercise? I'm going to now demonstrate how we shorten them. You do one at a time. You grab yellow, and you pull. Grab yellow, pull. Now they're shorter again, okay? That'll make it easier for our rows. Before I do the rows, let's do the rows right into camera. So this is a pistol grip, okay? And I do a pistol grip, I'm going to pull my elbows right by my body, and it's in the lower part of my ribs here. And from the side, I pull them in, lower part of the ribs, my wrists are nice and straight, okay? What happens if I do knuckle up? Long neck, low even shoulders. As I pull in, again to about the bra line area, right here, right? So again, my wrists are straight, but now it's almost like with this big broad chest, I'm pulling almost my elbows around to my back, okay? As I pull in from the back side, and we want to squeeze the middle of those scaps together. So that's a really terrific exercise when we do knuckle up. This will be stronger, as you will find, and this will be a little less strong, but doing some really good stuff for the back. Which variation do we want to use? Both of them. They're both good. So I'm just going to simply demonstrate. You already did this exercise with our armpit hang squat. And I had you do 3 little baby steps in. Remember that, folks? But now we should take 3 big steps in. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I'm more horizontal now, bigger load. I go right on out. And I just row. Think about a big broad chest. The elbows slide right on back by my body. I keep my wrists straight. And that's the pistol grip row. We learned that one first. Margaret, let's do it.
Okay.
So again, what she's going to do, she's going to hold it right here. And she's going to walk in 3 good steps. Oh, that's 4 steps. Go ahead. Now, if she wants that harder, folks, and again, she's doing a good job, she's having a little tendency to break that wrist. Keep the wrist straight. Don't break the wrist. Don't do that. If you're a rower, and if you break your wrist like that, you'll never be able to get down a 2,000-meter race course. Trust me, keep the wrist straight. When in doubt, our number is 8, but if you want strength, we want 2 sets of 12. Now, how many did you do, Margaret?
I did 8.
She did 8. So therefore, she was at pretty much her maximum, strength. That's actually a red routine level of strength. 8 to 12 reps, and if that's all you can do. So if that's too hard, folks, what do? You walk on out.
Oh.
Okay? So let's have fun with Margaret.
Okay.
And Margaret, we're just going to do 1 row. So start real shallow. So she's starting real shallow, just do 1 row.
Oh, much easier.
Much easier, folks. See that? Okay, Margaret, walk in another step. Do a row. And again, we pull it right back by the ribs there. Okay. And from there, Margaret, walk in another step. Do a row. Oh, she's groaning now. So you can see we're using our body weight as a machine. I think TRX says that as one of their marketing bits. But you're using your body weight as a machine. All we're doing is changing the angle. That changes the geometry. And for all you math geeks out there and you like your trigonometry, then you can calculate the sine of the angle and do the load of the body, whatever. Who cares? But just know that if you go in, it gets harder. And then at some point, it's going to get really hard. And then the green TRX strength, we're really going to go to town on that. All right, but we're not doing it here. We're just learning first. Now, I'm going to learn that knuckle up row. Start from the pistol grip again. Walk on in, your 3 steps or 4 steps, whatever you want. Find your load. That's the pistol grip, right, folks? Knuckles up. Do it from here. Then, as I pull in, big broad chest. Feel the squeezing of the scaps together. So that's our second variation. I like them both. And we will need them both later in the routines. So do your 3 steps in, Margaret, whatever you want. Go on out first in pistol grip. Now do the knuckles up. Go ahead. And you can pull it maybe a little more, just a teeny bit lower there. You're kind of pulling them high into your armpits here. Pull them like just an oar would come in right about there, wouldn't it?
It's too hard.
It's too hard, so walk on out. So you're going to be compensating if it's too hard, folks. So don't have it too hard at the beginning.
How's that?
That looks good. So Margaret's doing a little bit of a break there, and that's typical when you can't get your elbows all the way around back. When you don't have enough strength here to pull the scaps back together, you're going to compensate by breaking your wrist like that. So you trainers out there, you watch your clients do that. So if they're beginning to break their wrist, back them out, reduce the load, and that'll be better, right? So Margaret had her feet right together, and this is probably the last point about the TRX, that I can have my feet right together. That's typically harder. You know, you have smaller base of support. This will probably be easier, folks. We talked about strap length. If it's longer, it'll probably be a little harder. And we talked about walking in or out, harder, easier. So remember those basic rules. And I wait until now, the very end of the video, to show that to you because we don't need them earlier. So Margaret,
I want to see if that's harder.
yeah. So anyway, so we can just go ahead and, so she's, you know, feet are right together. That's why she can almost do it. And that's typically easier.
Oh, much easier. With the feet apart.
So instead of like pulling down, Margaret, you're kind of pulling down like that. Just pull straight in. Pull straight in. Right? And go ahead. And we're going to cue her back here, folks. So my hands are on her scaps. Pull in. And I want to see these things come together. See, my fingers are going to come together like this on her scaps. And they go on out. So we know that that part of her rhomboids and her mid-traps are working like they should. And that gives us that better, nice, straight back, like America's Next Top Model.
Oh, yeah.
All right? So that looks good, Margaret.
Okay.
And those are rows, folks. And Margaret, thank you for helping out today. And that finishes off the TRX movement preparation. Thank you.